Today we're bringing to you this special interview at this time, wherever you are. Great to have you connected with us. Great to have you in tune to our broadcast this evening. It's a delight. It's a great pleasure. If you're joining us, we are broadcasting on all our media platforms. We are on Abundant Life Radio. That's 103.1 in Barbuda, 103.9 from Buggy Peak in Antigua. We are also broadcasting on Barbuda channel, CTV channel 6. That's channel 6 if you have CTV. And we are also on the Barbuda channel Facebook page and also the Barbuda channel YouTube channel. So we are on all our platforms at this time. Great to have you connected with us, and today I have a very special interview, and we'll be bringing to you this with my very good friend who are here with me in studio, and he's going to talk all about, he's going to bring us some great information, tell us about what is happening in and around the police force, and also a little bit about himself, so you can, when you see him in Barbuda, you know who he is. Let me just say good evening to you, Inspector Tyrone Boyer. How are you doing?
Not bad at all, Pastor. Good evening. And good evening to the wide listening public as well on the all media platforms.
Right. Great having you. If you're watching us by means of Facebook, you can always share this broadcast. If you're watching us by means of a radio, just turn up your dial, keep listening, tell somebody, call somebody and say, hey, I want you to listen this with me as we get going for this great broadcast today. So, Inspector, just before we get into the meat of our discussion, tell us a bit about what's going on. I know you recently, I think last time we were here, you celebrated, it was Police Week. Yes. Tell us, what was that like? How was it? Give us a little brief synopsis of what took place and, in your opinion, how it went.
Well, we celebrated our Police Week in September, along with our Twin Island state, Barbuda. In regards to Barbuda, we had our church service at the Barbuda Pentecostal Church with a church service. And after that, we came up with the initiative, which was a street fair and community day, which was held within the region of Quadranton in the vicinity of the fire station, Black Club, where we would have had a lot of entertainment. We would have given out prizes to the three top students. We would have had, things for the kids, bounce castle. We had food, musical entertainment, and we had bicycle competition with the youths. And basically the initiative is to foster the relationship with the public, and it was a way and mean of giving back to the community. And in doing so, to foster our relationship with the Barbudan public.
Wow, so in your opinion, you really had you can truly say, hey, that was a great week of event.
Yes, it was a very great event. The initiative, when they executed into the actual event, it was welcomed by the Barbuda public. The attendance was great as well.
Okay. So I know we're heading into one of the busiest seasons you can think about. Tell us a bit about what preparation will be like for you and your team as you head into this Christmas season.
In regards to the Christmas season, the police, our main one focus point as well is security and safety of our citizens. So we will be out and about as usual doing our patrols, our mobile and foot patrols, to ensure people enjoy the festivities in a very safe manner, and constant interacting with persons and ensuring persons are safe as we celebrate our Christmas holiday season.
Right, awesome. Inspector, ever so often we look around our community and we look around, and we see persons in different professions, but we do not really stop to know much about those persons. One of the things we want to look at as we get to the place of you telling persons your present rank and what your duty entails with the rank that you are walking in. First of all, for somebody who would just see you walking around Barbuda, you have been working here, you're married to a Barbudan, you have a child here, you have a grandchild in Barbuda. Tell us, for those who don't know, who is Inspector Tyrone Boyer? Tell us a bit about your background, where you were born, a little bit about you.
Well, my birth name unto present is Tyrone Mark Anthony Boyer. I'm a 70s child. I was born 1970. So you would do the maths and know my age. I was born in Guyana. I came from a Christian background, Catholic, a strong Catholic home background. I had uncles who were teachers and police officers as well. I was raised by in a home with great-grandparents and grandparents with strict and good Christian values and discipline that allowed me to venture and enter into law enforcement, where they had a recruitment program going on in Guyana in 1991. And I took the opportunity to apply, and it was tedious, it wasn't easy. And I got through, and I ventured to Antigua in January of 91. We went through training at what is now Sorai Jazz Police Academy. Back then it was called PTS, Police Training School, simple. And I was originally a fire officer when I entered the police force. And I spent most of my time in the aerodrome aspect of firefighting at VC Bird. So I spent most of my time there at VC Bird in the aerodrome field, which I had a passion for. And then I was transferred to Barbuda, I think it was 94. And then until 97, my daughter born 97. And I was transferred back to Barbuda, to Antigua in 97. I was the rank of a constable. I was still in the fire department. And then I was transferred back again to Barbuda, I think it was 2004. And I moved, I think, 2007. I was still a constable at the time. I was still within the fire department. And then I would have been transferred to police aspect of it around 2019. I was transferred. Between 2018 and 2019, I was transferred to the regular police, where I was transferred to a department known as professional standards. That is one of the vanguards of the police force in terms of they deal with public complaints and to ensure police, govern themselves in regards to their role and responsibility, and to take public complaints, investigate them and stuff like that, and also to educate police officers on their roles as it relates as police officers, what they should do, although they know what they should do and should not do, but to enforce it, to let they understand the seriousness of being police officers. So from, yeah.
Okay, but tell us what motivated you? You mentioned earlier you had uncles that was teachers. What motivated you, like, hey, I want to be a police officer?
Watching my uncles and aunts being in law enforcement, I always wanted to join and be a police officer. Plus, I wanted to be a fire officer as well. My father was a fire officer for quite a number of years. So I always had the passion for either be law enforcement or be a fire officer. And I admire the humanitarian aspect of it as well. So then the opportunity came. As a youngster, you want to broaden your horizon and fly. So and seeing that you would migrate to a different country when the recruitment process was being done to come to Antigua. So I jumped on it and I was a successful candidate. And to this point, I basically have no regret.
Wow. So, okay, tell us a bit about it now. So you were born in Guyana, now decided I want to be a part of the police force in Antigua. I guess that was the first time you were coming to Antigua. Tell us a bit about the transition. How was it like leaving your home at a very young age? Have no relative family here, but now you moved to Antigua. What was that transition like?
The transition was not so difficult. The challenge we had is in the whole aspect, you come into a different culture, different eating and stuff like that, right? So when we came here, certain food and certain customs you're accustomed to back in Guyana was not here, based on the fact every island have their own customary.
Right.
But as time progressed, we adopted and got to know the customs. Sometimes we were in St. John's and we got lost, right? Because when we get time off and stuff like that, as recruits, so we find ourselves going wrong one street. Sometimes we can't even find back the bus station. We have to ask persons. So as time progressed, we would have got to learn the landscape, the streets, because within our training, that was a very important factor. They teach us locations, because police officers must know locations. Right. A tourist might meet you and ask you for a particular street. And it would be embarrassing if you can't find to somewhere in St. John's to direct them, right?
That's right.
So that was one of the toughest challenges I think we have in terms of the different ethnic culture difference in terms of us.
When you came that time, were you the only other from Guyana came with you?
Yes, sir.
Right. So you said, so tell us now a bit about the training. Do you remember some of the your training, your officers who train you, who were the commander, this kind of, tell us a bit about that period of training.
Our training was basically for 6 months, but there was some interruption with some things that was going on, and our training extended to 9 months. Wow. All right? And the breakdown of our whole training officers is the same pattern as now. You have a commander who's in charge of entirety of the training school. Then you have a chief. The commander most times, maybe sometime a superintendent or ASP. Oh. Then you have a chief instructor who rank is a inspector. And you have the drill sergeant who basically sometimes, he's a senior sergeant. And you have sergeants coming along to corporal. So they're the complement of the whole aspect of the training. And then you have the quartermaster. Quartermaster basically is responsible for you being fed and to ensure you have your stationaries and whatever you need. So the training, my first day of training, I was thinking of returning to Guyana. Not myself alone, because our training, we had about 24 Guyanese. Wow. And we had, our course was Guyanese, Vincentian, Antiguans, Dominicans. That was our makeup of our recruits. And as time goes on, we bonded. But as I tell you, the first day of training, a lot of us wanted to return and resign, because it was that intense, because they pushed us so the limit. And day one, as the days progress, it got harder. And sometimes you just feel like giving up and going home, right? They used to be pushed to a breaking point. And basically, you get to understand the reason why the training was so intense. It is to build your character, build your stamina, and your physical being. Police officers supposed to be fit and have high tolerance level. When somebody calls your name or something, you don't get vexed and irritated, because you're called names that you've never been called in your life over there, right? And then you'll be saying, wait, these people they don't like me. This kind of anger towards me, but it was an intended purpose that you can see now, the reason for it.
Wow, awesome. And so you went through this time of training that was about, as I said, 9 months it led to. So here comes the day of now you're shifting your police uniform from the short pants,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Tell us a bit about the, if you remember, as you call it, the passing out.
Yes, yes.
Tell us a bit about that. How was the passing out for you? How did you felt on that day? So I just wanted to give you, as I get some one. So go right
Well,
ahead.
the adrenaline and the excitement would have started months into your passing out, like a month in advance, because as we got closer to graduation, the training became less intensive, and because we would have gone through all of what we needed to do in terms of our practical and theoretical aspect of training, and then like a month before our passing out, the concentration was on preparation, you know, getting the facility painted, infrastructure, things fixed, you know, and concentrating on your uniform, because now you're being given your uniform as a full-fledged police officer uniform. Because, you know, all those months, basically it was the short brown pants, the boat hat, the thing that looked like a boat hat, and your boots and your long socks. And you're transitioning now when the excitement came when the quartermaster would come and give you your long pants, wow, and your gray shirt and your hat and your white tunic for you to prepare for graduation. So it was all excitement because, as I would have emphasized just now, the training would have less intensified as we got closer to graduation.
Awesome. If you're just joining us here, you're listening to a special interview, and I have joining me here in studio, it's Inspector Tyrone Boyer. He's here. Just telling us a bit, we're talking about policing here in Barbuda, as you know, and also what, you know, who is Inspector Boyer? So when you see me in the community, you realize, boy, sometimes we look at persons and not realizing, hey, they're ordinary human beings. Even though they're wearing a uniform, or maybe you see them in an office, they also have days of being stressed out, a little bit frustrated, and we sometimes have to understand they're human being also. So we're just getting to know him and know a little bit about him as we continue. So tell us now about Inspector. So now the passing out, you were placed, was the first station or place you were?
Coolidge Fire Station, in the aerodrome aspect of it, where our responsibility is to give coverage to the VC Bird Airport and to ensure that the airport is properly covered with the necessary firefighting apparatus. Because you would notice the trucks at the airport are different from the trucks in the town. So you have the aerodrome fire trucks that looks very different, and the structural trucks that look very different. And also, it was not just firefighting we did at Coolidge Fire Station. We had an ambulance and medics as well that is still there, that is responsible if somebody took sick at the airport, be a passenger or a staff, because the category of an airport, you must have, international airports must have some level of, either an ambulance or persons who are trained in first aid.
Wow. Okay, so you were there, you worked there for a number of years. How many years you worked there? Did you ever move from?
Yes, every time I moved from this Barbuda.
So tell us a bit about that. So then you came to Barbuda. Which year you came to Barbuda?
Around 1994.
1994. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you heard that they're sending you to Barbuda.
Yeah.
What was this like? Because it was your first time coming to Barbuda.
Yes, sir.
Right. Tell us a bit about that. And who were in charge of the police, the overall police? Because I think all the police officers were in the station, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, yeah.
So tell us a bit about who were the person in charge, and also what was it like for you?
Well, when I was told that I'm being transferred to Barbuda, I I didn't really question it. There was a fire officer who was in Barbuda. He was transferred back to Antigua, and he was telling me, "You're gonna like the place, man. It's not active like Antigua and stuff like that. And be careful, because they love bang half police over there, right?" So when I came over 94, you know, we stayed at the old police station now, which is in the village. The fire and the police was under one roof, right? The person in charge at the time was Mr. Marshall, Lorraine Marshall. He was the inspector. We didn't have a senior sergeant. We had a sergeant by the name of Alvin Thomas, who we call Roots.
Oh, and he was from Barbuda, right?
He's Barbuda. Right?
Okay.
And we had one corporal from the regular, man by the name of Christian. A lot of people don't remember him.
Okay.
And then the complement come down was constables.
Right.
We had Armstrong, who they used to call Gunsmoke.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember hearing that name.
Yeah, we had Harn. Harn is an inspector now. We have Mr. Joseph, who's assistant commissioner now. All of us, Mr. Dave White, who is now deceased. Pipe, who is now deceased, who used to be the tailor.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Fire was myself, Harry, who is now deceased,
Okay.
and officer by the name of Graves, from Barbados.
Okay.
And that was the complement. And the court was in that same building. Downstairs by the guard room area, that was the court area. And the police station in those days was a place of gathering, where parents would bring children there to do their homework. Okay. And children used to just find themselves at the police station, because they used to come there and play and come all up in the station. You know, we cooking, we share our meal. And you have civilians as well who used to venture. And we had a real good bondage. And a lot of the persons who used to be coming at the station, a lot of them is now deceased, you know.
Wow.
You had people like Dul Dul. Emil John is still alive, Stiffy is still alive. You had Frankie. You had Preacher Boy. Glass. Preacher Boy is deceased. You had Glass. You know, you had Tigger. Right? Peter Frank.
Okay. So then guys used to come around and play dominoes?
Play domino, play worry.
Oh.
And stuff like Mr. Burton, Prophet, and Mr. Eric Burton used to be passionate about playing worry with Hightower, who is Lopi's father.
Okay.
Denzel Samuel.
Right.
Yes. And then we had Han, we had Samuel. All of us were young constables at the time in the force.
Right. And was it at that stint when you, as I call it, met the love of your life you're now married to, or you went away and came back?
I met my wife around 90, I think it's about 95, if my memory serves me
When
right.
you came in that stint?
Yeah, my first stint is when I reached my wife.
Okay, right, wow.
And she didn't like police. So regardless if I was still, although I was a firefighter, the stigma is broad brushed. So she used to pass in front of the station, and every time I trouble, she had some remark, you know, I don't like trouble, I don't like police. And Han used to be there laughing at me and so on, you know. But then I started to give her little notes and so on, with, you know, stuff and so on. Every time she was of age, yeah?
Right.
And then eventually we started to speak, and then there was no turning back.
There's no turning back up until now.
Yes.
Wow. I tell you that. That's good. Yeah. But I don't know if to understand is that you went back to Antigua, and then you came again.
Yeah, I went 97. I came back 2004, I think.
Wow.
2020, 2004, yeah.
2004. Okay, right.
And moved 2007.
Okay. At what point in all this, and which year, if you remember? So now you're a constable, but then here comes now, you became a corporal. Tell us a bit about that.
I trying to memorize the years I got corporal. It's not too factoring. I think I got corporal 2006.
So that was your second stint back here then?
No.
Was it here in Antigua?
No. I get corporal. I got corporal after my second stint.
Okay.
I never be a corporal in Barbuda,
Oh, okay.
right? So after after I went back 2007, if my memory serves me right, sometime after 2007 I got corporal, not 2006. So I have never worked over here as a corporal. When I came back, my third stint, I was an inspector. So all my promotions I got in Antigua, from corporal to inspector. I never returned to Barbuda until I was an inspector.
Let me just ask you this. You know, seeing that we have you here and also is an informative, because we're going to be talking to different professions. But for your profession, tell us a bit about that. So now you're improved from a constable, right, to a corporal. What is the role of a corporal?
When you move from a constable to a corporal, basically it's a supervisory rank.
Oh.
You're called a SPO, right?
Okay.
Supervising police officer.
Oh, okay.
Right? And your responsibility is onto the lower ranks, who would be constables, to supervise them and to ensure that they perform their duties as they're directed to, and to guide them with good principles,
right,
in terms of being good police officers, and in the sense of teaching them succession planning as well, because you want them to get to your level as well. So it's a preparational stage for them to, so when they reach the rank of corporal, it's not they're trying to get their foot wet. They would have already been in the preparational stage, and you as a SP or as a corporal has that responsibility to assist them from making that leap as well.
Wow. Okay. And then you continue to
Sergeant.
go, then you move up now to
Sergeant.
a sergeant. You remember the year that took place, and where were you at? Were you at the airport?
Airport when I get sergeant.
Airport, okay. And so tell us a bit about the role now of the sergeant.
Sergeant now basically is, the corporals are under your supervision in most instances. The corporals is under your supervision, right? They're guided and directed by you in terms of, just like it is the same principle as a corporal and a constable, right? It's the same principle of a sergeant and to a corporal, right? But it might vary depending upon the corporal's responsibilities now, because the corporals now have the responsibility to guide and look over the constables. So basically, the corporals are the eyes and ears of the sergeant. And the sergeant will do something named roles and responsibilities. So each corporal gets a role and responsibility. And in terms of managing it, so you might have a corporal deal with lectures and stuff like that.
Okay.
A corporal overlook visitation of the public to the station. So they get different roles and responsibility. Sergeant now is more to he has a responsibility onto the administration as well. Because being a sergeant, you have to report to the administration, which is inspector, senior sergeant upwards. Right? But mostly the administrative rank within the fire department at Coolidge at the time would have started from the aspect of being an inspector, going upwards.
Yeah, somewhere in your transition, somewhere in your operation, you shifted. I don't know if I'm using the right word, from regular
Fire to regular.
fire to regular, right? Fire to regular. What caused that shift?
Couple of years back, not so long prior, couple of years prior to that, I had done a training that was facilitated by the United States State Department, and that course was dealing with the professional standards, the same unit that was created within the force to oversee disciplines and public complaints.
Oh.
But I was not the first batch, but I did the training. But after I did the training, professional standards was already there, right? And at some point, they were looking for persons to add to the staff of professional standards. So based on the fact that I had done the training, I was transferred not fully. So it's like a secondment thing, right?
Oh, okay.
So I was still fire, but I was in professional standards and was given the responsibility to look over discipline, firefighters' discipline and complaints. So I was responsible for that field.
Okay, so that's what caused the
That is why I was
transition.
transferred, yeah.
Okay, and then from that transition, when you transfer as a sergeant.
No, I was transferred as an inspector.
As an inspector.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow! And which year was that?
I was around 2018,
Okay. Oh.
2018, 2019.
Right. Then you continue to move. You continue to work, and then an opportunity was given again now to you that, hey, we are sending you to Barbuda, where you are presently.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us again how this came about.
Yeah, I was in my office at Professional Standards one day, and the commissioner called me upstairs with some of the other senior ranks. And the commissioner said to me, he said, boy, your name was raised basically as a good candidate to go to Barbuda. Are you interested in going to? I said, yes. This before he even completed the sentence, right? He said, anxious to go to Barbuda. I said, I would love to go to Barbuda to work. And then he said, okay, go over and do good. Any assistance you need, reach out to us and stuff like that. And I was on my way back to Barbuda.
Right, right. So tell us now, so you're inspector. Inspector, what is your role here in Barbuda as the inspector of police? So when folks look at you, folks see you, they understand what is your role here?
My role basically, I'm in charge of the police station, and I oversee the fire station as well. And to ensure that the runnings of the station is done in conformity, and ensure that our officers are, take care of the community, ensure that the place is safe. And I have to report to persons as well in Antigua, so I have to get up early in the morning, by 5 a.m., 7 days a week.
Wow.
Because I have to report to the senior officer to let him know what is the status scope of Barbuda for the past 24 hours. Any crime, anything, any assistance I need, any concerns and stuff like that. Because not only the public will have concerns, I have officers who would have concerns as well, and fire officers as well.
So you basically supervise both the regular police officers and the fire department here in Barbuda?
Yeah.
Right.
But in regards to the fire, you have Senior Sergeant George, who overlooks that aspect of it.
Right.
But he still would keep me up to date with any challenges, anything, assistance I need. But I have responsibilities to both.
To supervise both.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned that every day you have to, just as an officer, and I guess is that being done at basically all the police precinct stations around.
Yep.
You call and you have to report.
Yes.
That's the word you use.
Yes.
Report the station to another higher ranking officer. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's a relay effect, so doing it has to be done within a specific time, because he has to report to somebody.
Right.
Right? And that follow a chain of command right up to the commissioner.
Wow.
So it has to be done within a specific time, because the commissioner has to report to somebody as well.
Right.
So you have to deal with time management.
Wow.
So I have to get up, say by 4:30, drink some coffee, get my thoughts together, and then take it from there.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, if you've just joined us, we are here and we are talking with Inspector Tyrone Boyer of the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda, and we are here doing this special interview, bringing to you this special information, knowing a little, getting into the background of him. And this is the program that we'll be doing here. Many of our professions that we have, whether they're teachers, whether they're nurses, doctors, whatever, to you to know about them. And because sometimes you see people and we don't really know them and we just judge them based on, they wear uniform and we get up, understand that they have feeling, they have passion, they have a family, they have dreams. I mean, they can be hurt. At times you can make them happy. I'm here. So we're bringing to you this informative information. So, Inspector, as we move on, you tell us, you share with us what you're doing here, your role, your duties. You're here now in Barbuda. Can you share with us, as the officer in Barbuda, when I talk about what are some of the challenges that you are facing? And when I say challenge, I mean, like, do we have a lot of major crimes? Do we have a lot of major things? Can you just briefly show us some of the things that you have to deal with as an officer, or the police officer have to be dealing with here in Barbuda?
Well, Barbuda, thanks to the Almighty, is very low in crime, but we can become complacent. One of my focal points, I have a lot, is the youths in Barbuda and their behavior. And myself, along with my officers, we are on a mission to assist in whatever way we can in terms of teaching them the right and putting them on the right path. So oftentimes you would have parents who would reach out to us to speak to their kids because of their behavior. And we would always assist in doing that. As much as possible, we visit the schools, primary, secondary schools as well, and to interact with them. Sometimes we go to the General Assembly because Principal Mr. Rexford Harry would oftentimes invite us to the secondary school to give some motivational talk to the youths because they need it, right? And we would go up there and speak to them and give them words of encouragement. No, nothing being combative with them. Just putting them in a comfortable space, letting them understand you was once there as a student like them, and what you hope for them in terms of their skill set and what they want to become in the future. So that is one of the concentrated factor. And the concern is they've been on the streets. You would have heard that the curfew law and the Loitering Act has been passed and tabled in Parliament, which has been rolled out. All of us in society have a role to play, right? It can't be the police alone. We have to be our neighbors and our keeper. Kids have no place being on the streets late hours in the night. So I once heard some persons speaking about what they want the youths to divert from this negative behavior that has been occurring in our society. Some of them have been becoming robust and violent and rude. And to transition and be positive youths. Right. But my thought is you have to identify the problem, mitigate against the problem, and find solutions. Why they're behaving like this? Why they're so robust? Why they're behaving so angry? Why they becoming violent? And it leads us back to the family, the home structure. Most times the product of the home, in terms of how they're disciplined, or how they are being treated, or even what they're allowed to be doing, ventures into the street. So then you would ask the question, why is that happening? Fathers, a lot of these homes doesn't have a father. A father is the structural backbone of a home. He is who is the vanguard for to discipline these children with their behavior. And you would recognize a lot of the homes, there's single parents, no father present. Mommy has to be probably doing 2 jobs. And the children sometimes when she's at work, they're left without proper supervision, so they're allowed to do mischief. So we need that fatherly presence in the home as well to guide and protect the children and the kids. And the world of technology. You might be a disciplined parent, ensuring that the children, your kids, does what they're guided by in good principle. But 9 and 10 o'clock 9 and 10 o'clock in the night, they're on the internet, they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok, not doing anything constructive. All those things has to be supervised because the elements of allowing them to be mischievous is available.
Right.
So these things has to be controlled. Because when I was a youth, when I was young, the disciplines kicked in. I was not told what I need to do. When I got home from school, it's law that when you reach home, you wash your hand and your face and so on, you get something to eat, you get a shower, and then it's your homework. After homework, it's straight by 7 o'clock in your bed. You have to wake. I had to wake up by 5 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't fortunate to had a rich family. So the struggle was real. You had to walk. I used to walk miles to school. Wow. Right? And we were raised with strict disciplines and respect. Right? Your neighbor used to beat you like you their own child when you do wrong. And then you go home, it's a relay, you get the next beating again. Now the children, they watch you a kind of way, you can't even talk to your neighbor's child. We need to get back to the principles and the proper family structure of the respect. Children must respect each other. They must recognize there is a God as well. A lot of them don't go to church. Something have to cause their existence. You get up every day, just go on about your glory way. Recognize God. So we're in a society that we can't give up. We just have to keep pushing to assist our youths. I would have recognized that I don't like to use the word I at times. So there was a PAN program over here. I know PAN
right.
is something that kids gravitate to. So I said, Everett used to run this PAN thing. I see the children and auntie so passionate about PAN and so on. This is a diversion for them for something to do. So I had a conversation with Everett Thomas, who says he's willing to, revive it with some assistance. So he needed a home for the PAN, and he needed an area to store his PAN. So I had a conversation with the principal, Mr. Rexford Harry, and had Mr. Everett in a meeting. And Mr. Harry would have reached out and offered him a place in the school to have PAN practice and to store his PAN. So it's a start, and I'm looking to get some other skill sets involved. Because children like music, right? That's right? I'm looking forward as well, if I'm still here, to have a steel pan group from Barbuda representing Barbuda next independence and to bring home the crown, right? So it's a start to at least, you can talk and criticize, but
that's right.
What are we doing to help them? So that is one of my focal points to assist the youths.
That's right, certainly. As I said, if you just join us, we're speaking with Inspector Tyrone Boyer from the Barbuda Police Station, and he's just telling us a bit about himself, his background, and also his role here in Barbuda, his responsibilities, and what are some of the plans as we move forward. Believe it or not, a year fast approaching, and as he said earlier, thanks be to God, we don't have lots of major crimes going on here in Barbuda, and we thank God for that. It's a very small community, and we bless God for that. But Inspector, as we said, we are stepping into the holiday season. You're talking about some of the things that have plans. What's next? Sometimes you're still a young person. Can we look forward to say maybe in the next 10 years? Deputy Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner, you're doing an awesome job here in Barbuda. You start to maybe plan out and said, hey, Maybe I'm going to give this the next 10 years, the next five, are you just still waiting?
Um, in that regards, being a police officer is a calling, right? You have to be a human first and then a police, right? Why I say that? Yeah, a police officer, you have to have empathy, discretion, love for people, and tolerance. And then you're a police. In regards, futuristically speaking, in terms of how long I would spend within the force, I think I'm guided by the Almighty in principles. I speak to Him, and how long I can go, because I love public service given to the community, right? But there might be a point when you have to ride off into the sunset, right? So speaking, I indefinitely I do not have basically I doesn't have a point where I think where I will cut off. But I'm preparing when I have to take my leave that I left something behind that persons can identify me by, something positive, right? Police is a very complex job. You get a lot of enemies because the public misinterprets the laws at times, and a lot of people act on their emotions.
That's right.
Because they might say the police is not doing what they're supposed to do, and the time is taking too long, And I think at some point during one of your, I would wish to come back and explain the procedure in an investigation.
Right. That's good.
Right? Because persons might feel that an investigation is being delayed purposely by police officers, which is far from the truth. Right? There are a lot of things that happens behind a investigative process that can hamper the smooth flow or the time in which is done, which is no fault of the police in most cases. And to understand from the time of the incident and the investigation kicks in, the process that the investigation is done. And that's why, it's important that we educate the public in regards to the laws. And persons have the responsibility as well. You can go to any government, the government website, the police website is on Google, and type in any law, rape, robbery, anyone, investigative process, and everything is enshrined there in regards to what it is, what is what can be the outcome, the consequences. So you can read the laws and understand the laws of Antigua and Barbuda and be guided by them, rather than making a decision or making an utterance based on your emotions. Yeah.
That's right. Well, what we're going to do right at this time, we're going to be taking a short break, and we will be right back. Oh, that's right. And we are right back here with our special interview with Inspector Tyrone Boyer of the Antigua and Barbuda Royal Police Force. Just doing some chit-chat and talk, telling us a little bit about himself and his duties here in Barbuda and some of the things that he's facing. Inspector, as we continue to move on, we spoke about, just before we took the break, the pan. What other thing else you think we need to really do? Are you having your heart you would love to see to help you to help our youths here in Barbuda?
A proper structured community center, so we can harness the skill sets of the youth. So when they finish from school, you have somewhere to go and something to do. You know, you have a community center that has the mechanism in place in terms of you can play music, pan, violin, keyboard. You have an IT section as well. And you can complement a lot of things that can be done there. And you have people who are with those skill sets to teach them as well. Maybe music or what. Because to me, I recognize kids are passionate about playing musical instruments. If you would have watched the Independence Panorama with the different schools, and you saw the energy and the excitement, right? I think Barbuda needs that as well. And next year, God spare life, we will have our Junior Panorama team in Antigua representing and bring home that crown.
In Barbuda.
Right. I know you have the venture in your church, right, where you would empower them to play instruments, which is very good, and I admire it. The keyboard, you see them, the phase off of the adults from the keyboard, you see the youths playing the keyboard, you see they playing the drums, right. They up in the media with right, the camera. So right there is succession planning. You're teaching them to run with something that can enhance the skill set. Yeah.
That's right. So as we close within our hour of this interview, and can't believe that we almost there, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here, and do you have anything you're going to do major from the police department as you close this year? And tell us a bit about what's your plan, going forward.
Well, we sit with my colleagues and see if we can do some kind of event for the Christmas period. I know they have the lighting competition and stuff like that. I am looking at, something, nothing figuratively in my head as yet, but something during the Christmas holidays, probably a domino competition, at a location, have a little grilling and stuff, little barbecue, interact with the public and do some, Christmas, is a joyful time and stuff like that, interact. So, as I would have said, the community day is not a one-off thing. I want it to be continuous. Always have to give back to the public, because the public is very supportive of us in Barbuda. I can say that much. And I think they're hospitable towards us in most instances, and we appreciate their help and assistance. And they can feel free to call or visit the police station of any inquiries they have. I know I made that comment, and I didn't say it would be the detriment to me, but at 10 and 9 o'clock in the night, outside my home, right, Specky may say that we can come anytime, right? So right, I entertain them. Sometimes people just want some positive advice or some guidance. So we have to find the time, because that is why we be police officers, to help and assist persons in every way we can, and have a lot of empathy within us. Sometimes we be sung hard, but sometimes it's for a reason, right? Because if you continuously be mischievous and break the law, I can't be speaking to you like, in a certain manner. I wouldn't use profanity and stuff like that, but I have to let you understand. Because when persons break the law, you must let them understand the consequences why they break the law, and explain to them Because some of them don't know. You said, you did this, this is the consequences. But there are times when police officers can use some levels, we use a level sometime of tolerance where, you know, give the person a warning depending upon the seriousness of it and give them someone, no, we need to come better than this.
Right.
This is not worthwhile. You're a young man, you have kids, you don't want to see your kids, a young woman behaving in that manner. Because from the time you get kids, basically you're a role model unto your kids, you know, so your behavior have to be of such.
Right.
Right? So if you use a lot of profanity in your house, the kids going to go up on the road using profanity and behave in a kind of a way. So we have to be mindful in terms of how we behave in front of our kids and kids in general.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As we end this broadcast, just ending on a little bit humorous note, and you know, you're a human being. Ever so often, I know I will see you posting on maybe Facebook or maybe on your status that you are cooking all kind of a meal. I don't know if it is a you know, what
experiment.
we call. I don't know if maybe you're experimenting or maybe it's just a little, you're doing all these AI stuff. Or do you love to cook?
I love to cook.
You love to cook.
I love to cook. I have a passion for cooking, and I will take something, nothing, and make it something.
You take nothing,
right? And I love to share. Right?
Well, I can't say that because I'm supposed to be your pastor, and for months you say all kind of stuff and show all kind of stuff.
Look out for me before the week done. I'll be calling you and say, pass and pick up. Okay. I know you. I know I have make that commitment. Yes. That will be in short order.
That will be in short. You know, we have to end in a humorous note.
Yes, of course. A little humor is good.
Right. Thank you very much for your time. I thank you very much for taking time out to be a part of this special interview. It was very informative, and for those who are watching on Facebook, you can share this. It is also on our YouTube channels. I think you can share also from our YouTube, send a link to somebody, and you can look forward for many more of these discussions here, talking to our professionals and everybody. Before you go, I must give an opportunity to just say special thank you, and you'll want to say thanks to your wife, because it's either that and I will advise for you to sleep under the gallery tonight. So and December are cold, so let me give you time to say thank you to her and to others.
I wanna yes, my wife is my backbone, my support, my structure. Keep me in line, you know. I have a grandson now who is my lifeline as well. He keeps us busy. My daughter's Amelia, who is very supportive of my journey and where I'm at. And also the public at large for the continued assistance and support of us in Barbuda, because we need it. And I implore them to continue to support us. We need it, right? And we must always remember that police are human beings as well. We are just in a different skill set in terms of discipline, but we are human beings as well. We need the talking to as well. A little advice, a little, you know, and we need, most of all, we need prayer. I continue to, you know, ask for prayer, because these are trying times. We've seen things that never happen, and the devil is existent more than anything else. And, you know, pray for us. We need it. We continue to pray for us and give support where you can.
There you have it. We say special thank you, Inspector Tyrone Boyer of the Antigua and Barbuda Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda, and he's the inspector in charge of Barbuda Police Station, and also oversee the fire department here in Barbuda. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for taking time out. And remember, you can watch this, and we'll always be showing this on the Barbuda channel. It's great to have you connected with you. Join me again next Wednesday for another of our professionals that we have here with us in Barbuda, and it's going to be a great time. Stay blessed, stay strong, Inspector. All the best. Thank you very much
for
your
much.
time.